What's going on, friends? Sean Don coming back with another technical analysis. Third for the day. Hell yeah. Two more to go after this. Here we got our boy, Garrett Stokes. Before we get into today's video, if you guys are interested in a technical analysis of your own or any other online coaching services, go check out my website, ripandrip.co. Coaching services. Is it coaching page? Services page? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Just go to the website. You should be able to find it. You're smart, right? But yeah, let's send it. Let's take a look at Garrett's video. This is I think the third technical analysis I've done for him. So love to see the consistency, dedication to the craft. Yeah, and I think Garrett has a similar thing going on as the last technical analysis video I did on Connor Walechka. Pretty decent looking throw though.
Down, close. All right.
Decent orbit, pulling back a little bit around the left side up a little bit, and like I said, similar to a lot of things I've seen lately, just not a lot of right side pressure, right side tension. Most of that work's coming from what looks like the left shoulder. So let's break it down and see what we got. So Garrett is doing a good thing here. His arms are out away from his body, and they stay more or less out away from his body. But still, the issue is he brings his hands from right around to the left. At least, well, let's say from the right through zero. When I think he needs to focus on bringing the ball forwards a little bit more, reaching forwards from 270, and then opening up and facing the right just a little bit more in the winds, because he comes back and faces zero, and then that kind of hampers connection a little bit. He opens up well. Again, second wind, ball drops a little bit. You keep the hands up and out a little bit. Try to connect more off 180, reach out to the right more. Then you see the hands drop and the right elbow is down by the right hip. I'd like to see the hands up and out, the right elbow up a little bit more, because like I said, your issue through the throw is it's mostly left-sided, left shoulder. So you come through the second wind, stepping out a little bit, facing the right a little bit more, blocking off that left side a little bit more. I like that. I think you could open up more in the second wind as you go to step out and the ball comes back around your head. I'd like to see you open up your shoulders more, pre-turning them so you can connect earlier off 180, because kind of what happens is we'll see here, and also that left elbow is coming a little bit high, getting a lot of space through that left armpit. You open up a little bit, but then what's going to happen is through entry, and you can see it here, right elbow down, left arm coming across the body. Looks like you kind of drop and sit, and you can see the left hand is on top and the right hand is underneath. Try to get the right hand on top, the left hand underneath. So, because what's happening here is you have a lot of tension across the left side of your body, which is a good thing, but not a lot of tension coming from the right side of the body. You got to kind of balance those forces out. So you see some throwers, they're all right-sided, no left side, not necessarily, but and then you see other throwers, they're mostly left-sided with very little right side. And usually the best throwers have a good balance of right side to left side. But you see, sink, sit, and then you see, like I said, left hand on top, right hand underneath. Try to flip that. Right hand on top, left hand underneath. But sit and sink. Pretty good stability through zero. A little bit of left side pulling back. And keeping the elbows squeezed together. Looks like decent turning with the ball here. And then like a lot of people do, you're sending the ball around the left, but then not, it gets forward a little bit. You get a little, forward translation through the circle. I do think as the ball goes around the left, like right around here, you need to relax a little bit more and let the ball stretch a little bit more towards this right sector line, all right? If you feel the ball stretch towards the right sector line, that means the ball's going to grow a little bit forwards. You're going to step to it a little bit more, because it looks like you have the tendency to kind of step around. So I think, like I said, feel the ball stretch towards the right sector a little bit more. Step to the ball, right hip to the high point. All right, and you land flat-footed, totally cool on the first catch, just a little bit around. So if we look at, the right foot compared to the left foot, you're pretty much even right now. I'd like to see a little bit of that right foot a little bit more in the direction of the sector. It means, like I said, the ball's growing towards the sector, and you're going to have to be able to feel that right side pressure a little bit better, hopefully. But what happens is, honestly, pretty solid catch position in terms of separation, everything, and stability. You're settling back over that left side. That left heel comes down deep in the legs, but then you just don't really get back on the ball. You're getting back on the ball a little bit late. As you can see, you catch, and then you have to really you spend a few frames shifting back over that left. You never really quite get over that left side in the catch. So in this catch, I think the speculation, I'd like to see a little bit more weight over this left foot, perhaps. But as we go through double support, you're turning with the ball pretty well, relatively stable, squeezing the elbows together, it looks like, very tight elbows. Right side turning with it pretty good, but what happens is if we see, let's say, catch your left shoulder, if we leave my mouse where it is, and then as you're going through double support, stability, pretty good. But you start to see that left side pull back a little bit too much, and like I said, just a little bit heavy on the right side. You can see this left knee out a little bit more over this toe, get the ball a little bit longer on the left, because if we look at, I think, and this is a thing I wanted to point out later in the video, but if we keep the ball here, this is the furthest most point to the left the ball gets. Then if we go to the next turn, let's see where it goes. It's just a little bit shorter. Just a little bit shorter than the previous turn, and then pulling back about a foot, let's say, on the orbit around the left, when really the orbit should at the very least, stay the same out around the left if you have a good throw, and maybe even grow a little bit around the left. That's my hypothesis. So if we go back to the turn that we were in, which was right here, I believe. Yes. So the orbit's shortening around the left a little bit, and that comes from this left side kind of pulling back and you being a little bit heavy on the right. You got to get a little bit more weight over the left side. But you're turning with it pretty well. Right hip to the high point again. And you can see, like I said in some other videos today, the angle of the hips to the shoulders. Shoulders are level, but hips are tilted down. You kind of want to match that to an extent. Loosen up that left side a little bit. Feel that right side on top. And then step forward towards the ball. Because like I said, when it gets short around the left, the time you have in single support gets shortened, which means you're not going to catch with as much separation. As you can see, this catch is a little bit later than the previous one. Okay, and you are a little bit rotational with the feet. Right foot almost overtaking the left, but they're even. Like I said, right foot looks slightly a little bit more forwards than I'd like it. I'd like to see it more in the direction of the sector. But you're still down on the legs. Hips are more or less underneath you. Left heel grounds, and once this left heel grounds, you need to stabilize this left side a little bit more using the right leg. So this line of force coming up through, your contralateral sling of your right foot, right hip, up through your left shoulder's got to stabilize a little bit more. Okay, and then you see that left side starting to pull back a little bit more dramatically here. All right, so if I leave this mouse where your left shoulder is now, you can see that left side pulling back as the ball goes through zero. All right, so that's a little bit of instability in the system, a little bit of inefficiency. Left heel. And you're turning with the ball pretty well. It's just that left shoulder is really kind of sabotaging you, and I think that really comes back to the winds and the entry and just not feeling proper right side connection. Hips are getting up into it though. Like I said, orbit gets shorter on the left, so you see the high point start to drift from 180 to a little bit just after. And you go to catch. And you do come off plantar flexed here, which means, once again, a sign that the right side's not connected like it needs to. You need to get this right side turning, working with the ball. And then if you do it right, that right foot should come off a little bit more dorsi flexed instead of plantar flexed. And then, as you can see, the ball needs to grow more towards the sector, more towards 180, or even, like I said, feeling the ball stretch towards the right sector. I think that's kind of the biggest cue I'd say for you right now, is trying to feel the ball stretch towards that right sector line. So when you catch, you come around. Once again, slightly over-rotated. Not a ton of amplitude in the orbit growing towards 180. You catch. I think this one gets a little bit better, but you can see that so same thing. Left shoulder here, shifting back, pulling back. A lot of work coming from that left side, not a ton from the right side. You do get some stability here, and you see that right side start to work a little bit more here. Just by then, your kind of direction through the circle is a little bit more down the left sector line. And you see, because of that, that left side pulls up and back and across. And then Now you start to see that right side get behind a little bit more, a little tight and short around the left, shortening the orbit, so then you catch and over rotate, and this is your latest catch of the throw. So as I've said in previous videos, you want to see that catch maybe at least stay the same, if not get a little bit deeper each turn. So this over rotation, you can see the right leg getting really wide, and single support, and you catch and you're late. So almost no separation here between the hips and the ball, your shoulders and all that stuff. Everything's kind of together when you land flat-footed, and then that left side, once again, is going to turn and pull and work. But you do get through the finish pretty well. You get good extension, so you're good at working out of kind of the hole you dug yourself into. But the goal is to not have to dig yourself out of that hole at all, and then all of a sudden you're going to have, 5 or 10 feet added to your throw. So, yeah, it all comes back to the entry. All the winds in entry. Feel that right side. I like to think about maybe even my right elbow reaching back, pulling back to 180 to connect, and feel that right side kind of sweep from 180 through the entry. That'll help connect the left side or the right side a little bit better. And then, but you're doing a good job of keeping the left arm long, keeping the hands out away from the body, but you just got to feel that right side pressure a little bit more. So open up that right shoulder to 180 a little bit more in the winds at entry, and things should get better. And then, like I said, I think the next biggest thing would be keep that right side on top, and then feel the ball stretch towards this right sector line. All right, that's I think, going to be your cue. So, yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this helps. And if anybody else out there would like some online coaching from your boy, go to my website, gripandrip.co. Sign up now. Get working in the fall, and you're going to set some big PRs indoors and outdoors next year. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Until next time, Sean Don signing off.